Are you ready for another story? I'm on a business trip and I have decided to join a coworker for dinner at their invitation. I joined them for dinner. We're having just regular pleasantries that you would have at dinner with a coworker. How'd you enjoy that meeting? Did you think that could be an email? So on and so forth. Everything's fine. The waitress comes, takes our order, asks, "Hey, would you like to place a drink order?" My coworker orders an alcoholic beverage and I order a sparkling water because I love sparkling waters. They make me feel special and fancy, and they're like a more elevated water, obviously. So the waitress walks away. My coworker goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot that you're sober. Do you want me to tell them to hold off on my drink?" I'm really confused. I stop, I look at them, I ask them, "What do you mean I'm sober?" "Oh, well, I understand that since you're divorced, you had a really hard time and now you're practicing sober living, and I don't want to tempt you by having this drink." I ask them where did they hear that from. They tell me that they were told in confidence by a coworker. They shared that they wouldn't let me know that that person told them. However, they were informed about me having had a hard divorce, and they just don't want to do anything that would mess me up while I'm away from home. I was very shocked by this story, and I informed my coworker, "Hey, I just want you to know I have never been divorced. I've only been married once, and I am not sober." "Oh, but you ordered a water." "Yeah, I just in general like sparkling waters. I don't really drink too much or too often." "Oh, okay, but you what about your daughter?" I said, "What do you mean about what about my daughter?" "Well, your ex-husband, I mean, but you have a daughter." I said, "Yeah, I have a daughter." "Well, how did she get here? I just assumed she got here the natural way." So in that moment, I stopped. And it was like a matrix moment. I have these two pills that I can choose from. One, I can give a teachable moment. Or two, I could just say something silly. I decided to say something silly. So I respond to the coworkers like, "You know what? Didn't have her a natural way. Actually, you're right. I don't know why I thought you wouldn't know that. So this is what I did. Went onto the internet. They have this special slime that you can order. I ordered the slime, put it in my backyard under the moonlight. You have to pick a particular day. Under the moonlight, you play music, songs that you like, and then magically you just like pour in your intentions, and then a baby pops up out of the slime." So at this point, my coworker has made a crazy face at me because they realize I'm being silly. I'm not saying anything serious. So I put my hand on the table and I say, there are a lot of different ways that LGBTQ families add children into their dynamic. And I only came here to eat dinner. I do not want to educate or teach you about all the ways that people can go about adding children to their families. If you want to find out more about that, I just suggest that you do a Google search and you can find out more about the various ways that people do this. The coworker just stared at me. It was very awkward, but the tension was broken by a lovely waitress who wanted us to place our entree orders. After we ate, I excused myself and headed back up to my room. When I got into my room, a coworker called me to ask about a project, and I shared with this coworker, who I felt was a pretty good ally, what happened. They informed me, that they had heard this story. I said, "Oh, really?" "Yeah. Well, you never told me about it. Oh, yeah, you're right. I never did. Well, did someone tell you about it? Well, no, I was in the kitchen and there were a couple of people in the kitchen talking about it. Well, who was in the kitchen? They didn't really want to share who was in the kitchen or who was talking about it. And I was pretty shocked because I really felt like this person was a really good ally to me and my friend. I said, oh, okay. They're like, yeah, I don't want to make anything weird by telling you who it was. But yeah, they were saying that. I said, well, did you say anything? They were puzzled. Said, well, what was I supposed to say? I said, you could have said something like, oh, that's not true. But if you have questions, you should just ask Alicia. Or you could have said something like, hey, I don't think this is appropriate to be talking about in the kitchen in front of everybody. Or just say something to advocate for me in that space. They were very quiet. I could tell that they were kind of hurt. I was hurt. And I quickly just changed the conversation to discuss the project and ended the call as soon as I could. I sat in my room alone, feeling alone in a new profound way in regards to my coworkers. And one of the people who I felt really saw me for me, and I thought that this person would probably advocate for me if need be, realizing that they didn't do that, but then also coming to the realization that they probably didn't even have any idea on how to do that. So in this moment, I really want to share a couple of ways that you can really support your LGBTQ plus coworkers, team members, and employees throughout the year. So one, my first thing is to consider doing your own research. Having questions is fine, but some questions are inappropriate for the workplace. I'm pretty sure if at that organization we had a good HR department, there could have been some problems there in regards to the line of questioning that I received. But do your own research and use your own discernment to determine if you should be asking these questions to your LGBTQ plus employees, coworkers, and team members. My second thing is to correct yourself. If you accidentally say the wrong pronouns, or if you say husband when you should have said wife, just quickly correct yourself. Don't act like it wasn't a big deal or try to justify why you said what you said. Just correct yourself. Use what the person is telling you that you should be saying or doing. Apologize and move on. But you may have messed up in a way that a particular person does want to provide you with an aha moment and share with you some information. Or you may have asked a question that they do want to answer for you and give you detail. So in that respect, the third thing you should do is to be a good listener. Hear what your LGBTQ plus employees, team members are saying. Listen to them. Process what they're saying. And really, really try to commit it to memory. If they're taking the time to share this information with you, the least you could do is listen and remember it to the best of your ability. Every day may not be a teachable moment. We all have bad days, but if you've got a good day and they've decided to share some knowledge with you, right? Listen. Practice your good listening skills. My fourth, and I think that this might be the most important way that you could support your LGBTQ plus coworkers and team members, is to be a visible advocate. Use your voice. If you see or hear someone doing something that is an injustice to your LGBTQ plus coworkers, or is a microaggression towards them, speak up. Be visible. Be heard. The more you speak up, the more an equitable workplace environment and a more welcoming and affirming workplace culture will be able to develop. But it can't just be the LGBTQ plus employees or team members who are the ones who are advocating for these rights, who are pushing against microaggressions, and who are being visible. We need all allies who know that these actions are wrong to speak up. Please. It'll help others not feel alone and know that even though you may not be impacted by these statements, these actions, that you care enough to speak up for them. Because surprise, surprise, a lot of people are not out at work. A study showed that 46% of LGBTQ plus people do not share their identity at work out of fear of mistreatment. So you being visible and being heard, you may be helping those that you have no idea that they belong to the LGBTQ plus community. I hope that this story and these 4 tips can really help create a nice, welcoming workplace culture for LGBTQ plus employees. I hope that this was insightful, and I hope that you'll watch the next one. Until next time, I'm Alicia Gradney. Bye.